John felt sick. He held a pink slip in his hand. The words blurred together. He had lost his job. The company was letting him go. John had worked there for 20 years. Now what? How would he pay his bills? How would he support his family? John went home. He told his wife, Mary. She held him tight. She told him it would be okay. But John wasn't sure. He felt lost. He felt scared. He didn't know what to do. John sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the pink slip. It was a tangible symbol of his misfortune. The days stretched before him, empty and meaningless. The routine of getting up and going to work, a routine that had defined his life for so long, was gone. The bills piled up on the kitchen table, a constant reminder of his dwindling savings. John tried to stay positive for Mary, but the fear gnawed at him. He had always been the provider, the strong one. Now he felt like a burden. John spent his days searching for jobs, but nothing seemed to pan out. He felt like a cog in a machine, lost in a sea of equally qualified candidates. The rejections chipped away at his confidence, leaving him feeling defeated. Sleep offered little solace. John would toss and turn, haunted by anxieties about the future. He dreamt of financial ruin, of losing their home, of failing his family. The weight of the world, it seemed, rested on his shoulders. The guitar lay forgotten in the attic. It was covered in dust, a relic of a happier time. John remembered the thrill of playing, the joy of creating music with his friends. Back then, life was simpler, filled with dreams and possibilities. John picked up the guitar, its weight familiar in his hands. He ran his fingers over the strings, their texture rough against his skin. Memories flooded back. Late-night jam sessions, the roar of the crowd, the camaraderie of the band. He remembered the feeling of pure joy that music brought him, a feeling he hadn't realized he missed. It was a feeling of escape, of release, of being truly alive. John closed his eyes and strummed a chord. The sound was rusty and discordant, but it sparked something in John's soul. He felt a flicker of hope, a glimmer of light in the darkness that had enveloped him. Maybe, just maybe, music could be his salvation. John carefully opened the dusty guitar case. The guitar lay inside, untouched for years. It was a beautiful instrument, a relic of a time when life was filled with music and laughter. John ran his hand along the smooth wood, memories flooding back. He lifted the guitar out of its case. It felt heavier than he remembered, or maybe it was just the weight of his worries making it feel that way. He sat down on the edge of the bed and held the guitar in his hands. For a moment, he just stared at it. He remembered the hours he spent practicing, determined to master every chord, every riff. He remembered the thrill of performing, the way the music moved him, transported him. John closed his eyes and placed his fingers on the strings. He took a deep breath and started to play. The first chords were hesitant, rusty, but as he continued to play, the music began to flow. The first chord. John's fingers trembled slightly as he touched the strings of the guitar. It had been years since he had played, years spent chasing deadlines, paying bills, and fulfilling responsibilities. Years devoid of the joy that music brought him. He took a deep breath and strummed the first chord. The sound was raw, imperfect, but it resonated through him, stirring something deep within. It was a sound of hope, a sound of possibility, a sound of forgotten dreams reawakened. John closed his eyes, losing himself in the music. He played chord after chord, his fingers finding their old familiarity with the strings. The melody flowed, hesitant at first, then gaining confidence like a stream finding its course. Time seemed to stand still. The worries that had plagued him, the fears that had kept him awake at night, all faded away. In that moment, there was only John and his guitar, reunited after years of separation. Music to his ears. The music filled the room, filling the emptiness that had taken root in John's life. It was a melody from his past, a song he used to play with his band. The notes resonated with memories, both joyful and bittersweet. As he played, he felt a sense of peace wash over him. The music was his escape, a way to silence the noise of his anxieties and reconnect with a part of himself he thought he had lost. Each chord, each strum of the guitar, chipped away at the despair that had settled in his heart. John poured his emotions into the music. The frustration of job hunting, the fear of uncertainty, the longing for purpose, all found their voice in the melody. It wasn't just music, it was catharsis, a release of pent-up emotions he hadn't even realized he was carrying. For the first time since losing his job, John felt a spark of joy. The music was his lifeline, pulling him back from the abyss of despair. It was a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there was still beauty to be found, still a reason to hope. sharing his gift. John had been playing for hours, losing himself in the music. He hadn't realized how much he had missed it, how much he needed it. But as the final notes faded away, he felt a pang of something else. He wanted to share this feeling, this joy, with others. He thought of Mary, of the worry etched on her face. He wanted to ease her anxieties, to show her that there was still hope, still beauty in the world. He wanted to share the solace he had found in music, to let her know that he wasn't giving up. That evening, John waited until Mary was home from work. He sat her down in the living room and told her he had a surprise. He took a deep breath, his fingers trembling slightly, and began to play. Mary listened intently, her eyes closed. John played with a passion and intensity he hadn't felt in years. He poured his heart and soul into the music, hoping to convey everything he couldn't put into words. The coffee shop was buzzing with activity. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee filled the air, mingling with the soft murmur of conversations. It was open mic night, a chance for local musicians to showcase their talent. John sat nervously in a corner, his guitar case resting on his lap. He hadn't performed in front of an audience in years. The thought sent butterflies fluttering in his stomach. He almost turned back, almost let his fear get the best of him. But then he remembered why he was here: to share his music, to connect with others, to reclaim a part of himself he thought he had lost. Taking a deep breath, John stood up and made his way to the stage. He could feel the weight of the audience's gaze, but he focused on his guitar, his lifeline, his solace. He introduced himself, his voice a little shaky at first, and then he began to play. The music flowed from him, a mix of familiar covers and a few original pieces he had been working on. He poured his heart and soul into every note, every strum, every word. He closed his eyes, losing himself in the music, the fear and anxiety replaced by a sense of pure joy. The music stopped. Silence hung in the air for a beat. Then the coffee shop erupted in applause. John's heart swelled with emotion. He hadn't felt this alive in years. It wasn't just the applause, it was the connection he felt with the audience, the shared love for music that transcended age, background, everything. After his performance, people approached him, their faces lit up with smiles. They complimented his music, his passion, his courage for getting up on stage. One man, his eyes twinkling with recognition, said, "You have a gift, son. Don't let it go to waste." Among the well-wishers was a woman who introduced herself as the owner of a local music store. She had been impressed by John's performance and offered him a job teaching guitar lessons. John was taken aback. Could this be his second chance? John accepted the offer without hesitation. It wasn't the corporate job he once had, but it was a second chance, something more meaningful. It was a chance to share his passion, to nurture young talent, to make a difference in the lives of others. John discovered profound fulfillment in teaching. His students, from enthusiastic children to retirees chasing lifelong ambitions, infused his life with a renewed sense of purpose. He saw a reflection of himself in their eyes, the same spark of passion, the same yearning to create something beautiful. The music store became his sanctuary, a refuge from past anxieties. Surrounded by instruments, the air filled with music and laughter, John felt truly content for the first time in years. He continued to perform at the coffee shop, his confidence growing with each performance. He began writing his own songs again, his lyrics narrating his journey of loss, rediscovery, and hope. His music resonated with people, his story of resilience striking a chord with those who had faced their own challenges. John's journey became a testament to the power of finding one's purpose, even amidst adversity. He had lost his job, his security, his sense of self-worth, but through music, he had found something far greater: his purpose. Life had taken an unexpected turn for John, but he embraced it as a new beginning. He had traded his suit and tie for jeans and a t-shirt, his office cubicle for a room filled with music. He had rediscovered a part of himself he thought he had lost, a part that brought him joy, purpose, and a renewed sense of self. He looked at Mary, her eyes shining with pride. She had been his rock throughout it all, her unwavering love and support his anchor in the storm. Together they had weathered the storm and emerged stronger, their bond deepened by the shared experience. John picked up his guitar, his fingers finding their familiar place on the strings. He closed his eyes and began to play, the music flowing from him like a river finding its way back to the sea. He was home. As John strummed the last chord on his guitar, he took a moment to reflect on the journey that had brought him here. It hadn't been easy, but every challenge had shaped him into the person he was today. The echoes of his past no longer haunted him. Instead, they harmonized with the present, creating a melody of resilience and hope. The room filled with the soft, lingering notes of his song, a testament to his journey of transformation. He thought of all the people who had supported him, who had believed in him when he had doubted himself. His heart swelled with gratitude as he realized that his story was far from over. It was just beginning a new chapter. The camera panned to the window, where the first light of dawn was breaking, symbolizing a new day and a new start. John smiled, knowing that while the path ahead was unknown, he was ready to face it with courage and an open heart. As the screen faded to black, a final message appeared. Every ending is a new beginning. Embrace the journey. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more inspiring stories.